Okay, students, if you're having any questions about the three pairs, this video is for you. Now, you've got all of your handy-dandy information about the group unit located here. I've got a screen capture of what your Google Drive should look like. There's that original video that we had when we opened up the semester. Here is your original rubric, and as people have been asking me questions, I've been updating that, and I've dated it for you. There is the exemplar solo speech. If you have a question about group roles, I've uploaded some old lectures from back in the day here for you. There's the rubric. There's a myriad of resources, everything in one place, and pretty soon this Loom video I'm recording right now will be there as well. Now, I want to call your attention first of all to this rubric, which is the updated rubric. And let's see, is this thing going to load? Perfect. So when it loads, you're going to see I break down what is required of every one of these attachments that you're going to upload. As you will note, in the three pairs, or as one of my students this evening called it, the big three, and I just love that, you have two options. You can either give a commentary and upload that as an attachment. It could be a paragraph. I thought an example of long-term was blamby blam. In my speech, I did not identify any short-term situations. To that effect, you don't identify them. In my speech, I talk about the attitudinal barrier of X. However, just basically give me a paragraph so that I understand that you understand what these three pairs are. Now, if you do that, obviously you're going to upload that to right here where it says the three pairs. Now, if you identify it in your speech, you simply have to make a document with one sentence and label it number 5 that says, I identified that in my speech. How would that look? Well, if you click on, in this little group unit, I've got an exemplar solo speech right here loaded for you. I put it in my Google Doc, and this person kindly highlights it. There's the author's credibility and the date. And they say, look, the attitudinal issue is banned. The attitudinal cause of how many people are not fully aware of how the immigration detention centers are structured and organized to keep immigrants is the leading cause of why the immigration system has not responded correctly when dealing with COVID-19. They talk about the laws in place, and they even cite the Homeland Security ICE website. Once again, you've got some research now from this person with the author's name, credibility, and date. You have long-term and short-term. So there is no reason for this particular student now to identify the three pairs because it would be redundant work for them. They identify it in the speech. But for some people, they feel uncomfortable because they're not terms they're used to utilizing. So I give you that option. But it's very important for me that you understand the three pairs being long-term, short-term, quantitative, qualitative, and substantive, and let's see, quantitative, qualitative, which quantitative is, oh, I'm so tired, y'all. Quantitative and qualitative. Quantitative is dollar amounts, data, or as we say in the debate world, the body count. So basically, when you start talking about 900 individuals, that is quantitative. Now, can you measure the pain and suffering of being away from your loved ones in a detention facility for 9 months? Probably not. Attorneys try to do this when they sue for pain and suffering, but probably not. To that effect, it would be qualitative. Now, if you talk about attitudes of people not knowing it's a problem, they like it's a problem, they don't care it's a problem, or they just feel disempowered, that would be attitudinal. If you talk about the laws, whether it's international or U.S. law, that would be structural. And then, of course, there's long-term, short-term. Short-term, the problem has short-term effects due to the pandemic right now. This problem has short-term effects due to the pandemic, might not last long or one day, or it could all end. The way we respond to the pandemic is only for a short time, hopefully not a long time. My argument would be, in the short term, people's lives are being disrupted, and over the long term, there are psychological effects when you're in the detention facility. Or within the short term, a family who is displaced has financial implications which impacts their housing situation, which could be long-term. I'm just talking off the cuff. But this person says the problem has short-term effects due to the pandemic. So what they're talking about is right now, there is a sense of immediacy. In fact, the problem is compounded because these immigrants are enduring not only being detained, but detained during a worldwide pandemic. So anyway, I hope that helps you understand it. And I love criterions and solutions. What is the lens by which you will look at that? And they even talk about attitudinal. So you can either identify it in your speech, or you could give me a breakdown and give me a commentary here. So I hope that answers your questions about the three pairs. And if you have any other questions, everything is pretty much all in one spot. I've made a file folder for you, and you can find it all right there. If you have any questions about deadlines, here's the quick access to your schedule. And of course, all of your speeches should follow. Look, I've even got camera angle situation up here for you for how to adjust your camera angle. The other thing is, it's very important that you have reviewed the prompt, and the prompt. These are all from your first policy speech, and they're all the same information, but for visual learners. And of course, there's also a myriad of videos where I talk about all this stuff. And there's a playlist that's available for you. Where is that playlist? There's somewhere, resources for policy speeches, and under here, there is a playlist, informative speech playlist. And there's also some persuasive videos there as well. And there's podcasts. Your speech should look just like these. It's the expectations of your speech have not changed. 3 sources with author's name, date, and qualification. And here are some exemplar case studies of what those outlines should be. I hope this answers your question on the big 3, and thank you for watching my video.